Eldrazi Tron has shown itself to be a mainstay in the format. Granted, the rise and fall of consigned memory somewhat dictates how Eldrazi Tron will continue to fare through Modern being the focus at high-level events. It cannot be ignored, however, that Turn 3 Tron has continued to be one of the most powerful things to do in Modern. There are a few different ways to approach the deck. One can focus more on a colorless build, while playing a swamp for a basic to fetch through certain land hate. This lets you ramp with clearing Fleshraker and have access to hand hate and Thought-Knot Seer. You can also focus more on a green Tron route, focusing on playing talismans and sowing Mycospawn as land hate and ramp. This can also lead you to consider playing cards such as Worldbreaker. There is also room for playing blue Tron. This gives access to Portent of Calamity, which allows you to use your mass amounts of mana to cast a card for free. It also lets you have a certain amount of interaction, such as the aforementioned consigned memory. One thing is for certain though, all of these builds have access to the key spine of the deck, Kozilek's Command, which could be considered the best card in the format, Ugin of the Storms, which is in contention for one of the best planeswalkers in Modern, and the card that provides the utility and playability of the deck, Karn the Great Creator. Having access to the Karn board makes this list have game against many of the decks in the format, while also being a null rod into Affinity, which is still one of the most competitive decks in Modern. You also cannot ignore that the deck gets to play some of the best finishers in the format. Emrakul the Promised End tends to do exactly what its name suggests. Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, while not being hexproof, wins plenty of matches immediately. And Sire of Seven Deaths is one of the best anti-aggro threats ever printed, and Devourer of Destiny is removal on a body while also being a 6/6, and helps to smooth out your opening hands. All in all, the deck is incredibly powerful and resilient in most metas, though the prevalence of consigned memory in the format will determine where the deck sits in the long run. This has shown itself in terms of its own win rate, sitting around 49% against the best decks in the format and struggling into the blue decks of the format, as well as Amulet Titan, because if you play Eldrazi, Amulet Titan will eat your lunch. Granted, if you enjoy making 7 mana on turn 3 and playing high cost spells, this one is for you.